So I say and show on this channel all the time that the New Testament is literally just cherry picking lines out of the Old Testament and applying it to Jesus to make him appear that he is this Messiah that the Old Testament is describing. And today is no exception, but today I'm going to show you the absolute best example that the New Testament is definitely just cherry picking lines. And not only that, but they're cherry picking half a lines. I would hope we could all agree that it is intellectually dishonest to cherry pick lines in the first place. But to literally cherry pick half a sentence is 100 times worse, in my opinion. So imagine for a second that, say you got two guys recording in a big old backyard at a house somewhere with a bunch of really small children who are out there playing baseball. So they're out there playing and recording the kids. And one of the kids, being a little kid, thinking it's funny and playful, runs up to one of the middle-aged guys there with him and dings him in the knee with a bat, dropping him to the ground in pain, to which he says a sentence, and listen carefully. He says, "I love children and I love baseball, but sometimes I really hate kids," while he's rubbing his leg in pain. Now imagine if the other guy turned off the audio and clipped half of that sentence, and it literally just all you hear is a voice saying in an angry and painful voice, "I just hate kids." Obviously, anybody who hears that and that's all they hear and see is going to think, well, this son of a bitch is really, really awful and shouldn't be around kids anywhere. It's because you've taken the actual context of the sentence where he's hit and falls in pain, and he's just making a sarcastic, frustrated response that "I love kids and I love baseball, but sometimes I really, really hate kids." You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Here, I'm going to show you that Matthew is doing exactly that. And in chapter 2, listen to what he says is a fulfilled prophecy about Jesus. It says, "Now after they had left, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, 'Get up, take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is about to search for the child to destroy him.' Then Joseph got up, took the child and his mother by night, and went to Egypt, and remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what had been spoken through the prophet, 'Out of Egypt I have called my son.'" Now, there's many, many issues with this. First of all, being that once we actually read this, you will realize that it's not even a prophecy. It's just a retelling of the Exodus. And the reason that's obvious is because I'm going to read the whole sentence. When Matthew said, "Out of Egypt I have called my son," he was literally just chopping the sentence that was actually coming from Hosea 11 in half. That's all he was doing. Listen, Hosea 11, pay attention here. Verse 1 says, "When Israel was a child, comma, I loved him, comma, and out of Egypt I called my son." So Matthew started that halfway through the sentence after the word "and." "Out of Egypt I called my son" is all Matthew read of that. And if you read the next part, it says, "The more they went from me, the more I called them, the more they went from me. They kept sacrificing to the Baals and offering incense to idols." So this is certainly not about Jesus. This is a retelling of the Exodus, saying that Israel is the child that's being referred to here, and it's not a prophecy about them coming out of Egypt. This is a retelling of the story of them coming out of Egypt, a retelling of the Exodus. It's obvious. But once again, look at that sentence. It says there's two commas there. So Matthew literally took half of the sentence and threw it in the Old Testament and said, "Jesus is fulfilling this. Congratulations." And coincidentally, he leaves off the part that says, "When Israel was a child, I loved him," before that. So, major intellectual dishonesty here again on Matthew's part, and again on a reflection of the entire New Testament, but especially Matthew, because Matthew's explicitly saying this is a prophecy filled by Jesus by leaving Egypt. So first of all, there's no prophecy about a Messiah having to come out of Egypt. That's ridiculous. This is literally a desperate cope by the New Testament trying to make Jesus this Messiah. And he's doing that literally by being intellectually dishonest, in my opinion, and chopping a sentence in half. No bueno. No bueno. You can't do that. If anybody wants to try to explain this to me, please do in the comments as usual. But I'm not sure you can honestly argue your way out of a cherry pick as bad as this one. But I would love it if you tried, though. I want to show this to people. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you, guys.